right, so if you've been following my channel for a while, I've talked about this a little bit in some of my other videos, but earlier this summer, I went ahead and installed the S&S 475 cam. So right in here, we have a brand new S&S 475 cam with adjustable push rods, a tappet cover, just the cam, and a few other things. So it's been a few months, and now it's time to kind of talk about it. So I've had a few months of experience riding with this bike, riding with the 475 cam installed. For the most part, I'm gonna say I love every minute of having this 475 cam. I love it. It's awesome, lots of power, sounds great. But it's not all positive. That is the subject of today's video. We're going to talk about some pros and cons of the S&S 475 cam. My experience is only with the 475 cam, so that is what we're going to talk about. So, all right, so the context for this, before I got the 475 cam installed, which I did by myself, proud to say, I've been riding with this 2020 Lowrider S for a good 2 years. Stage 1 for the most part, exhaust, air cleaner, and a tune with the Vance & Hines FP3 tuner. The biggest reason why I wanted to get the 475 cam was because I was sort of missing that Harley lope, that Harley sound, right? Did a lot of research, and I was purely going off of what I thought sounded best to my ears. So I went with the 475 cam for a multitude of reasons, but the sound was definitely the top one. So that's the context. Like I said, installed it myself in, I think, May, and now it's mid-September. So I've had a good amount of time riding with the 475 cam, got to experience what it's all about. So that's what we're gonna share in today's video. Starting with the first pro, I've already mentioned this, but the sound is just awesome, right? The sound is just awesome. And I only have the TBR 2-into-1 comp exhaust, which, to me, it doesn't sound the best. It's not the best pairing with the 475 cam, but either way, it's still a massive improvement over just a plain stage 1, right? I'm just over the moon with the sound. It has that nice lope, it has a rumble to it. So that is the first pro. So the 475 cam sounds the best to my ears versus the Woods. Star Racing cam comes pretty close, but I still think the 475 cam sounds the best. Definitely trumps any Screaming Eagle cam that I've heard, but to my ears, the 475, the S&S, sounded the best. All right, so the second pro for me, obviously, is the performance gains from the 475 cam. Didn't take it dyno tuned or anything like that. I just have a very basic tune from my my Vance & Hines FP3 tuner, and I know what you guys are gonna say. It is not the best pairing, it is not the best tuner, but right now that's what I have. And even with that tuning, to me, tons of power down low. You can throttle it out all the way into the higher RPMs, and the bike just keeps pushing. The bike just keeps going. And on the highway, that's really, really nice to have. And it's a ton of fun. So the power differential is probably the second pro in my book for the S&S 475. I don't know what some of the other cams have in terms of performance, but to me, I was already pretty happy with the performance of the Lowrider S, with the stage 1. But the 475 cam just really woke it up, Have been really enjoying that. The third reason is the rumble from the engine now. I have to say the M8s are pretty tame, right out of the box, but pairing it with the cam, especially the 475 cam, man, the bike shakes now, and I know that not everyone's going to be a fan of that. I get it, but I love just the Harley shake and the rumble, and so to me, pair that with the sound, pair that with the performance, and I really feel like I'm riding this like untamed horse. That's what she said. That's the other part, just the vibrations that you get. It's just a visceral feeling. I love that. S&S 475 definitely delivers on that point. The fourth one, I will say all of the things that I just listed out before I'd say it all culminates into just a really fun ride. You know, the Lowrider S is a ton of fun. I bet the 117 engine is even more so, right? So this is the 114, the 2020 model. You know, the newer ones are definitely more fun, but the 475 cam just took it to another level. So I've really been enjoying riding this bike, and I'm glad that I got the 475 cam a little bit later, because you know we all know this, right? Like, you fall in love with the bike, you get it, and you kind of eventually over time you get a little bit bored. And what I feel like the 475 did was just kind of like renew my enjoyment and my love for the Lowrider S. So been really enjoying the 475 cam a lot, if you haven't noticed already. But like I mentioned, it's not all roses. There are some thorns. The 475 cam, and probably with some other cams, my fuel efficiency has gone down quite a bit. Well, not quite a bit, but I would say roughly like 10 to 15%. So anytime I fueled up, I would get about 200 miles of range, or that's what the my tachometer said. But now, you know, I'm getting about maybe 180, realistically maybe like 150 to 175 if I'm riding really gingerly on the bike. So that is one thing to note. It might have something to do with my tune, because I think a few people have mentioned, you know, they haven't seen that drastic of a difference. But for me, I've seen a difference of about 10 to 15%, and maybe even as high as 20%, depending on how you ride it. Again, it could be related to the tune, but also, you know, when you have the cam, it's really hard not to ride it like hard, right? It's kind of meant to be driven hard. That's what she said. That might have something to do with it, you know, in terms of fuel economy. I'm not riding it as smoothly as I used to. I'm just kind of like beating on it now, any chance that I get. So just wanted to put that out there, the fuel economy. The next one I would say is during slow maneuvers. It's been an adjustment period, because the bike is not very smooth in the lower RPMs. So when you slow down, you're making a slow maneuver, U-turns, what have you, you really have to manage your throttle control, your friction zone. I would say slow maneuvers have been an adjustment period for me. The last con, I would say, and you know, I'm not even sure if this is a con, but I would say it's extremely loud. It's much louder than it used to be. Something to keep in mind. I know that with Harleys, we all want them as loud as possible, but if you are in a situation where you need somewhat of a quieter bike, like I don't know if I would get the 475 cam. But for the most part, I think the majority of us want the loudest Harley possible. So if that's you, put that in the pro column. It is extremely loud. But that's it for me. I'm gonna start the bike for you guys real quick so we can hear it. Have to be careful because I'm at a school parking lot, and so I don't know if they're going to try to kick me out. But there you have it, the SNS 475 cam. Sounds great. Been really enjoying it. I would say the pros definitely trump the cons for me. Highly recommend it. I was able to install it myself with no prior experience. You know, I do my basic maintenance on the Harleys, but was fairly straightforward. Didn't have too many issues. That's another story for another time. But I would say highly recommend the 475 cam. I'm gonna skate out of here, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening to me talk about my 475 cam. It's definitely renewed my appreciation for the Milwaukee 8s, especially the Lowrider S. I'm gonna get out of here. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, I'll see you all later. Peace.